Our artistic director, associate artistic director, and the board president were all out of town. So it was really, we were down to 3 key members for that first week. Essentially, Carol and I were acting president and vice president during that first week. It was triage team. When all of this happened, the chorus unified in a way that I've never seen a group of people come together. So our first performance was that evening at Joy MCC, where we put out a call and Facebook messages and emails to all of the chorus saying, hey, if you're available, put on your billboard shirt, which is a black t-shirt that says OGC on it, and meet us at this location. We're going to sing a few songs. And we had 48 members with hours notice show up and sing You'll Never Walk Alone. And then our next big vigil was the one at Dr. Phillips. At the Dr. Phillips vigil, we sang You'll Never Walk Alone and True Colors. So those 2 songs have kind of become our staple for Pulse, to where even for some of our singing members, it's almost a trigger where they get right back to day 1 and day 0. And I mean, most of us cannot sing that song without crying. You'll Never Walk Alone, that song was part of our 25th anniversary concert, One Voice. And I remember that we were using it as a in memoriam for members that had passed, family members that had passed. You know, it's uplifting, it's depressing, but it is very uplifting of saying, yes, this happened, but we're a community and you'll never walk alone.
There was a benefit concert for the bus shooting victim organized by Orlando Opera and also soloists played. And I happened to be a concertmaster, so I played a short piece called Meditation by Thais. I thought that concert was beautifully done, organized, and I was honored to be part of it. As a musician, the only things, we are not doctors or nurses, so we cannot directly help the victim. But I would like to sort of to be a part of it, to cure the soul and people's heart by playing. I chose this piece to sort of dedicate to the victim of bus shooting. If I can reach to people's minds, then my mission as a musician is kind of done.
When I first heard what happened at Pulse last year, it hit home. I mean, I myself, being part of the LGBTQ community, I used to go there on Saturdays, Latin night, with my friends, when I was feeling down, and wanted to go have some fun. It was somewhere where I would call one of my favorite places to go.
Especially after the Pulse hate crime, I spent a lot of time walking around the city, which I usually always would do, but definitely through a different lens of just photographing the memorials and the murals.
When I pulled into town, just the way that the city looked, like it was just lit up, and after the months went by, you just saw so many people being so creative in so many different ways. So I started off taking pictures at the club we had called Flavors, which is one of the hip-hop parties that we created for Saturday night. And from there, I went to taking pictures at the Parliament House, and then, you know, Parliament House on Latin night, and then Southern Nights, and then Southern Nights on Latin night, and then Pulse. So I was eventually at all of the clubs taking photos. I was a picture lady. I sat on the back patio at Pulse and took pictures. And it became a way of expression for me, taking photos and making people smile, and that became my connection to Orlando. I became Cha-Cha the picture lady.
When you start to forget those little moments, like, why am I still, I guess, strong today? Because there was a lot of moments where I would fall. For my wife, it was really hard to pick me up, but I would see just a painting on a wall, and it would, like, call to me and just tell me, like, you know, I'm here for a reason. I got to be strong for them, and I'm going to speak for them. That'd be the first thing that I would see with some of the powerful pictures. And the first time when we drove by and we saw the birds on the wall by the bus station, oh my God. We saw that in our our faces like lit up because it was beautiful. They're just doves and they're just birds flying and they're all in different colors. It just meant, so I started counting. I remember seeing the picture and I started counting. I'm like, wow, there's actually 49. And I started pinpointing which were my friends. I did lose 7 friends that day. So it was really hard for me. Just seeing pictures like that once in a while, it really lights up your day again. Like, they're there, they're watching you, and we got to be there for them.
I think that it's making people be more aware and conscious of inclusiveness.
I think part of the thing that scares me about the response from the art community, the response in terms of this Orlando United idea, is that it's kind of like fleeting, like it's going to go away. Like, it's all popular and trendy now, but eventually it's going to be gone. Like, the Target that was by Pulse had a roundabout that they painted as a rainbow. I thought it was going to be permanent. I was like, wow, we have this rainbow roundabout now. But like within 2 weeks, it was gone. You might as well have not put it there if you're going to just yank it out.
If you really listen to what Barbara and the board says, it's going to be how they want the memorial to be. That's what I feel. Like, however Orlando wants to see it. But we're not just Orlando, I think. We're a bigger community of what happened to us, but it seems like it has to be still in the shadow, like we've always been.
I say be fair and put other faces on the board that can allow things to be inclusive. You can't necessarily, be inclusive of everyone of your board, exclude a whole race or a whole sector of people. You can't keep doing that, and that's one of the biggest problems here.
Because I had a feeling with everything that was gonna be happening with Pulse and what they're gonna do with it, they completely excluded everyone from it.
It was a very hard hit emotionally. We all suffer so many issues and so many barriers, just being comfortable in our own skin, facing diversity, overcoming barriers, whether it may be in our own personal lives, careers, identity-wise. And then to know that someone will have done something so hurtful towards our community directly in somewhere that we felt it was our haven, it was just devastating. Street work here is amazing in Orlando, especially after everything that happened, to see a community just come together and create something so beautiful out of so much sorrow and darkness. After what happened, I really dove into this painting, and I wanted to portray something beautiful. When I started working on this, ironically, 2 years ago, it was one of the first art pieces that I actually began working on. It was one of those works that you feel like it's not finished for some reason, so you don't go back to it. I'm gonna be honest, like, I was painting and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be a male or female. I just started drawing this silhouette of this person, and I wanted it to be as beautiful as I could possibly make it. After the Pulse incident, I just felt like I needed to really get more into it. And when I finalized it, I just wanted to bring forth an image of just the human anatomy in its most honest, beautiful, simplest form, because it's just a silhouette, without any gender identity, and for people to make their own decisions about what it is that they feel they see. And the background of it, slightly, I don't know if you can really see it, it has music notes. It's actually from Celia Cruz's song, La vida es un carnaval, which means life is a carnival. And it's a song that talks about, regardless of how down and out you are, life is still beautiful and you're just gonna dance and sing through it. I felt that was the finishing touch to this piece. Unfortunately, these people, the tragedy affected them while they were having a great time, sharing times with their loved ones, with their friends, just out there thinking they were gonna go home to their loved ones the next day, and unfortunately they did not. And I just wanted the music to keep playing on and on and on and on, and in memory of them, that's when I knew that the piece was done. It'll stir up conversation. Like I mentioned, a lot of people are wondering, is it a man? Is it a female? What is it? Like, people want to know. So I think it's just people want to know what influenced it. The incident definitely influenced me to just pour it all out on canvas. My mom's she's not okay with my lifestyle. I respect it. We agree to disagree. you know. She doesn't put me down. It's just something that we don't talk about. But she definitely supports my artwork 110%. But my mother had came to visit with my brother and my sister. My mom got here, and the first thing she said, she was like, "Can you take me to Lake Eola?" And I was like, "Why?" I didn't put 1 + 1 together. She was like, I want to see the murals. I want to leave flowers." I took her, she picked up flowers, she actually put them down. She cried, and she hugged me, and she told me, sorry, she told me that she apologizes for never actually supporting me, and that she understood. And that's all she said. We didn't really have to talk about much. It's crazy how something so negative has to occur, something so painful, to bring understanding and compassion. You see it everywhere now, though. You see all the flags on the restaurants. You see, not just here in Orlando. I travel a lot. You see it in New Orleans. You see it in Connecticut. You see it in Puerto Rico. You see it in Boston. You see all these flags, and you see the one pulse, you know, one city, one pulse. And it's just beautiful. Have something visual. I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I do agree. Not just as an artist, but just in general. I think it's a moment captured in time that it's endless. You can look at it today, and it's still the same thing tomorrow, but the more you look at it, the more you start understanding what it's about, the more it talks to you, the more you disagree or agree with it. Or you think a lot of the artists in this community have actually been able to put that forth on the side of buildings, at the soccer stadiums. You see so much going on within our community in regards to the art.
I remember like thinking in my head like, whoa, like this is crazy. I find out what happened, and then immediately my mind's like, this really happened? Like a bunch of people like were just killed? At the same time when this is all happening, I actually just got the position of becoming the art director. It was one of those moments where it was just like, wow, like I never thought that I would be in a situation kind of like this. We just finished designing the cover for the week that was going to come out for, I believe it was June 15th issue, because it happened on June 12th. It started making me think, because I mean we are in a newspaper business, that I had to adjust and rethink everything that was laid out, every design that was laid out, that I had to kind of get myself in gear. I actually had several other cover designs that I tried for that weekend. The idea and the concept behind it was actually uniting people together. I went through multiple versions of like hands and trying to do different subject matters to kind of express that feeling. And I went through multiple versions of like hands and trying to do different subject matters to kind of express that feeling, because I didn't know if we were gonna have a photo that I actually put on the cover or what it was gonna be. Like it had to be something strong. The illustration, I wanted to do something that would be almost very stark. Yeah, originally I did have this illustration made for my own personal collection. It was just perfect, and you know I haven't used it in terms of like a mainstream piece. It was just like a personal piece. I think I showed it in a show. I really was in love. I'm in love with it, but I wanted to speak louder. I wanted to go to the people that I wanted to reach. I wanted to reach everyone with the piece. I want everyone to connect to the piece in the exact same way that I'm connecting to it, if possible. Bringing the opposites that people tell people that you can't be with. So like, oh, you should not date another man, or you should not date another woman, or whatever it may be. You should not date a black man or a white woman, just because of the race and all these different subject matters that go around that. And it was more like not just everyone come together. It was more like
my boyfriend is Joel Morales, and he's one of the leaders, first responders for the Pulse tragedy. So he wake me up and he told me, hey, something happened at Pulse. Also that day, my dad called me and he tells me, hey, your cousin from Puerto Rico, which I never met, got injured. He got shot 8 times. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening? You know, what is going on? I started working with Q Latinx, which is an amazing organization. They work with the idea of including all genders. That's why we use the X instead of the O. So I think them are giving me a lot of empowerment And I feel a lot of responsibility now that I'm here in Orlando, and that I need to make sure that as an artist, I also have a statement about us. Not only about Latinos, but also the intersection of me being a gay Latino or a gay Puerto Rican. Before Pulse, I was always trying to talk about my experience as a person that comes from another place, and also trying to represent my Latino culture. This one, for example, it's called Memories from the Country, and it represents the memory I have with my cousin driving through Puerto Rico in on a bulky. As you can see, this is before Paul, so it was all about me being Puerto Rican, here, memories. But the thing is, like, when something like this happened, you realize that there were 49 voices that were shut down that night, that they look like me. They came, actually, a lot of them, if not the majority of them, were from Puerto Rico. So you said to myself, it's time for me to actually let our voice heard, After what happened, you can see that my art's more directed about talking about my experience as gay, or my experience of being an immigrant from Puerto Rico. Part of my art is abstract, and it's because the whole process is so personal, it's so emotional. I think a lot of artists, including myself, we've been changing our perspective through having art about social justice, and not only social justice, but also empowerment. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about only the LGBT community, African American community. I feel the art is way more stronger now. Other intersections like woman empowerment or Latinos in general,
My name is Ayako Yonetani. I teach the violin, viola, and honors course called Music and the Brain at the University of Central Florida. Has a legend. That's why actually, I wasn't in Orlando. I was abroad, and I learned about the tragedy by news. And then when I came back, a friend of mine lives just 2 blocks away, and I saw the lots of flowers, and then I just realized the gravity of the tragedy. And then as a musician, the only things, we are not doctors or nurses, so we cannot directly help the victim. But I would like to sort of to be a part of it, to cure the soul and people's heart by playing.
That's really beautiful. And you said we are not doctors or nurses. However, I feel like some people would consider the music
I performed last movement from Solo Partita number 2 by J.S. Bach. It's called Chacon.
We perform at the Plaza Live Theater. And unfortunately, the night before Pulse, Christina Grimmie, a YouTuber and a performing artist, was shot and killed in the lobby. So that morning, I had to wake up and make the phone call of, hey, this just happened at the place that we perform. We need to make a statement. And then I had to make another phone call to the chorus and be like, hey, we've had a mass shooting. I need a head count. But I mean, we've performed for family members at their memorials of the victims. We've been all over. That video clip, I was in the back corner of the church taking the footage, post that on. Since that weekend, the chorus has grown exponentially. This time last year, if I were to go into a room and say, "Hi, my name's JD Casto, I'm with the Orlando Gay Chorus," I would typically get the reaction of, "Oh, we have one of those? Yeah, we've been here for 27 years. Now I say, "Hi, I'm JD, I'm with the Orlando Gay." Oh, we know who you are. And to me, that is baffling. I would say there have been a lot of organizations that are now talking with each other, arts organizations that necessarily weren't before. The one thing with organizations that I've seen is there's been an uprise of organizations that are led by an LGBT community member that are now wanting to be involved in LGBT community events regardless of their patronage. I mean, obviously you see the art everywhere around town, through the murals, through the paintings, the photographs. It's insane to see how much talent we have in Orlando and how, as a city and as artists, we all kind of grieve together. And
Orlando City, so from the Orlando City soccer team, using the rainbow flag and some of their stuff to like city transport, to big billboards, even like small agencies and coffee shops and people putting rainbow hearts on their windows and all that. You could just see the presence of gay LGBTQ spectrum related stuff everywhere.
I saw a lot more people come out that are artists that really never had the chance to actually really say something or had a chance to say something and actually be heard. With something like this, a tragic like this, it makes you want to speak up. With Pulse, that's on another scale. I mean, that's 49 people that were murdered, and that's crazy.
My Latino culture.